She's on fire.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to On Friday Inspire. I'm Aleigha, your purpose midwife. I want to thank you so much for joining us this beautiful Tuesday evening. You could have been doing anything else, but you chose to spend it with us. And for that, we are totally grateful. So, y'all, I thank you again for joining us. We're going to thank the fathers tonight. We're going to encourage the fathers. We're going to love on you all tonight. In celebration of Father's Day. So I want y'all to do me a favor and hit that share button. Before we jump in, I want to thank our sponsors tonight. I want to thank Dance with Mina. Dance with Mina is our wellness, our team, y'all. We don't do just line dancing and Zumba. It's motivation, it's inspiration, it's all that and then some with Dance with Mina. And you can find that on our Facebook. I was about to say YouTube. I'm going ahead and declaring that thing, okay? But right now we're on Facebook with Come Dance with Mina, MENA. You can join us in person in South Carolina, in Gaffney, South Carolina, or you can join us virtually. And we have a big monthly line dance party next Thursday, the 22nd at 6 p.m. Y'all don't want to miss it. It's Mr. Charles Das himself. So we are he's going to be our instructor that night at 6 p.m. And so y'all want to keep an eye out. Go join or go like Come Dance with Mina, MENA. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. Y'all do me a favor, hit that share button because we're going to encourage and empower the men. I know for Mother's Day, we had a great, great time getting empowered and inspired by the men. So now it's our turn to love on the men. All right. So y'all go ahead and tag or share this with a man in your life. It could be your brother, your husband, your uncle. And share this with a man so that they can be encouraged and empowered. But before I jump in tonight, I want to thank my big brother and pastor, Pastor Timena Sarratt. And he is the author of Leadership Inside Trajectory. Y'all, he is a John Maxwell certified speaker. He does leadership trainings. You can find that book on iworkfaith.com and book him as a speaker on that page as well. And then we have my books. If you don't have any of my books, you can find them out on Amazon. The coloring book is actually on Walmart.com, Target.com, all those good things. But we have my children's book. It teaches foundational English and Spanish with a music. Well, it used to have a music CD with a hardcover book, but Amazon don't buy that. We have On Friday Inspire. We have the Affirmations Journal. And the coloring book, and it's an affirmations coloring book. So if y'all don't have any of those things, you want to get them. Again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers and all the men. And you don't necessarily have to be a father to be a father. And when I say that, my uncle, my mom's twin brother, was like my father figure. My grandfather was like my father figure. And so they don't have to necessarily be your father to have served as a father and be an impact in your life and on your life, right? So before I get into all of that, I want to thank y'all for joining us. Hit that share button and we're going to get started. We're going to bring up co-pastor Terrill first, Terrill Coulter, Davis-Coulter, as we bring her on. Y'all hit that share button and welcome again. All right, here we go, y'all. Bear with me. Make sure our layout is right. Yes, we are. All right, co-pastor, I'm bringing you up. Here we go.
Hello there.
Welcome back. How are you?
I am well. How are you all doing tonight? It is an honor to be back in the place of fire on tonight. I just
Yes.
love you. This on fire to inspire. Tonight I know we're bringing encouragement to the men, and it is an honor to be asked because as a mother of three kings and my husband, to be able to speak a word of encouragement to not only them but to other men that are kings on tonight. The one thing I think we need to do more of is encouraging our men, because once we keep that encouragement going, once we keep that fire in them lit and push forward, you know what? There is no limit to what our God can do. So on tonight, I thank you again for having me.
You're
I first
welcome.
want to say that I love my king tonight, Pastor Bernard Coulter. I love him. I give honor to him tonight. I give honor to my three sons, Gabriel, Xavier, and Amari. Tonight is so special because I get to say some things that, you may not say every day. I give honor to my late father, Mr. Douglas Davis. This is my first Father's Day without him, but I give honor to what he represented in my life. So tonight, I just give God all the glory, and it's an honor again to be here. But let me start by saying this on tonight. There's a lot of times that we can say a lot of things, but when is the last time we took the time to say thank you? Not every man is stepping out. Not every man is after the wrong thing. There are some men out there, some kings that are doing it the way God ordained it to be done. So I just want to share just a little bit of this tonight. Let me start by simply saying thank you to every man that has taken his place and staying in position by any means necessary. Whether it's stepping in because there are no stepdads except the ones that have stepped in, being there when needed, providing the arm to steady the gait of those around them, or simply showing up. Thank you. When the world says that there is no good men, remember Genesis, when God laid the foundation of everything, he saw that it was good, and he saw and sees, man, that you are good. When it looks like and feels like life and situations are going to break you, you do not bend, nor do you bow, but you stand and you stay in place. When our sons and our daughters need a role model and need to see what a real man looks like, continue to show them and not just tell them, my king, stay in place. You are created to be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. And you are kings. We encourage you to not take any other place but the place that is already yours. Stay in your place. When you stay in your place, your queen can be submitted without feeling inferior, because you are kings are staying in your place. And that place offers security, and that is a place your queen and others around you can trust. So, King, let me say it again, remain in place. That place is called authority, honor, love, peace, joy, and a place your queen calls home. Now, I'm not talking about the brick and the mortar, nor the cement that holds a building in place, but I'm talking about a place where your queen can lay her heart. Remain in place. There is beauty in your face and love in your hands, protection in your look, and strength when you stand. Remain standing, our kings, and stay in place. To my king, thank you for protecting my heart, covering me in prayer, and allowing me to lay my heart at your feet and find safety and shelter in your arms. That, my queens, is what we call our kings. So, men, stay in place. I don't care what the world tries to tell you. I don't care how the world tries to define you. I don't care how men try to stack up to you. There is no comparison, because you are kings, are staying in your place. So on tonight, be blessed, highly favored of the Lord, because on tonight, I can say we have kings that are staying and remaining in their place. Thank you on tonight, and for the opportunity just to speak that little bit of word into the men in our lives, into the kings that are taken and staying in their rightful place. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Stay in place. I love it. And it's almost poetic. Your husband said all that. 100.
Well, when I sat down to do that, when we sit down and we think about things, we oftentimes, we try to just put something on paper. But, when you really allow the Lord to speak to you and what to say and give to somebody else, sometimes it does come out like poetry. Sometimes it does ring like a song, because truly that's what we're trying to convey, is that we do have men around us that are like poetry in motion. It's not just women, it's our men as well. And so by encouraging them to stay in place, by encouraging them, letting them know what that place looks like, that place of authority, that place of peace, joy, we don't know what that does for their heart to just take time to say thank you. And we realize and know that you're in your place, so stay there and don't let anything take you out of your place.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sharing. You are blessing the men. I know they're in receiving mode, I know you made them happy. You made their hearts happy. And thank you again for sharing tonight.
To God be the glory. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, y'all. So that was number one. So y'all, we off with the fire, starting with this whole team of fire. All right. And so next we have my pastor Timena coming up. And I tell y'all, when I tell you all four of these ladies that will be coming before you have a heart for God, and they have a heart for people. And so it's going to be conveyed in everything that they're saying. And so it's not something that they had to just really, really think on. They just had to let God just use them to do it. So without further ado, come on, Miss Pastor Timena. Welcome back to On Friday Inspire. How are you doing this evening, Queen?
Fantastic. How are y'all? Good evening. Delighted to be here.
Yes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being willing to share with the men.
Yes,
so I'm going to let you have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Again, Aleigha, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. It's always an honor and a privilege to share your platform. So thank you so much. And co-pastor Terrill, that was awesome. That was amazing. Stay in your place. I love it. So when I first talked with Aleigha about this assignment, I began to think back with Father's Day coming up. And unfortunately, the first memory that I have of my dad was when I was very young, probably about 3 years old. And my very first memory was of my mom standing on the side porch of the church, and her nose was bloodied because he had hit her. And I don't know the full details of the story, but she was at choir practice and there were allegations flying and this, that. But the end result was my mama with the bloody nose. And I can remember feeling so angry at my daddy, even at my very young age. And I can also remember being a very young girl and my daddy being, some might call it an alcoholic, but we just called him a straight up drunk, and how he was a very mean person typically, but when he was drunk, he wasn't. He was always very nice. And I can remember just kind of feeling conflicted even as a young child, because I liked my daddy more when he was drunk, but I knew that it was a bad thing for him to be drunk. And so that's kind of how I grew up. And I can recount stories of things that happened, negative things that happened when he was drinking. And I can recount stories of the arguments that my parents had. And I can recount times when I just wish they wouldn't stay together. My daddy was there, but at times I wished that he wasn't. But then I can also remember when my parents started to reconcile, right about the time when I was in junior high school, and we were all living in the same house again. And it was about time for me to start receiving company when boys would come over to visit. And I can remember having some kind of bitterness because now that my daddy was in the house, there were certain things that he didn't want me to do in front of boys. There were certain ways that he saw things that my mama didn't, because she's not a man. She was not a man. And so there would be things like he would come in and say, she doesn't need to have her shoes off when a boy is visiting. That's getting too familiar. And I didn't appreciate it at the time. But as the years went on And I began to see other people who didn't have their daddy in their lives, and how the way they acted around boys was a little bit different. And the experiences that they had, because they didn't have a father or a father figure who would speak into their lives and give them the perspective of a man. And so I won't say that I appreciated it then, but as I got older and eventually graduated, left home, and got married to an amazing man, and we have beautiful girls, one of the first things that I realized in trying to raise my daughters was everybody needs credit for trying. If you've tried anything, put forth any effort, and your children are alive, well, and healthy, well, everybody deserves a little credit, because I know how hard it was for me when I thought I was giving my all and it still didn't seem like it was enough. And it made me a little bit more sensitive to my daddy. Now, eventually, my daddy did make the decision to change his life. He no longer drank. He began to build his relationship with God. He stopped smoking, tried to live a better life. And I can even remember that after graduating high school, he began to give me some really good advice. Good advice, like when I was leaving home to move to Atlanta, and he said, it's pretty dangerous down there, but I tell you what, if you ever on that train and somebody looks at you like they're going to knock you in the head, you look at them like you're going to knock them in the head first. So yeah, sage advice like that. But it began to become a part of what I treasured in my life. And it made me think of David in the Bible, and how David became a great king and a great warrior. But David started out in a not so pleasant beginning. In fact, David was not the one that was favored. He was the youngest of Jesse's sons. He was what would have considered to be the runt of the bunch. So he was the one who kept the sheep. David was in charge of some pretty messy stuff, because keeping sheep was not a pleasant experience. It wasn't beautiful. Oh, we think sheep, they're fluffy and they're great and they're no, but it was not. It was dirty and it was ugly. And sometimes the sheep didn't have good sense and they would go off and get themselves into trouble. And David would have to fight in dangerous situations. But because of David's humble, somewhat ugly beginnings, the things that he went through, the trials that he had to face, eventually put him in position to be a great warrior for Israel. It was those same types of skills that he learned, which gave him the confidence to defend Israel when he faced Goliath, the giant. And so I think about, although my dad, like many men out there, may not have had the best beginning, he had a pretty messy beginning. But ultimately, it did put him in the position to where now the memories, although my dad is now gone on to be with the Lord. And when I think of Father's Day and my dad, the first thing that I think of is not my very first memory or the years of alcoholism that we went through. But I remember the dad who gave me crazy, but very good advice. I remember the dad who, on my wedding day, walked me down the aisle and kept me from being nervous by being so silly, but at the same time sharing with me how proud he was. And when looking at that, I want to remind all of the dads out there, the father figures, that you deserve to be honored. You deserve to be appreciated. And as co-pastor Terrill so eloquently told you, please stay in your space, in your place, because by all means, we need you right where you are. Don't go back. Keep looking toward God for what's next. And I am so grateful for this opportunity to be able to celebrate the men and to remind you, yes, you deserve to be honored. Although you may have a checkered past, you may even have some things going on in your present, but I want to encourage you to get back in position, because you deserve to be honored. Allow God to use all of those things and work them for his glory, because ultimately David was the one that God said was a man after his own heart. And if you know anything about what David went through, yes, he was a great king, but he had many trials. He made many mistakes. He made many bad choices that weren't mistakes. Yet and still, God called him a man after his own heart. And he's even honored in the lineage of Jesus Christ himself. So again, I want to encourage the men and let you know, yes, you deserve to be honored and appreciated. And we do appreciate all of you. And I want you to continue to stay in your place. And also, as I close, I want to send a special shout out to the blessing that God has given to me. I say there are the three greatest blessings in my life is God created me. He sent Jesus to be my savior, and he gave me Ricky Sarratt as my husband. And I do appreciate him. So Aleigha, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I pray that the men not just have an amazing Father's Day, but a whole month of celebrations and reminders of how amazing you are.
I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys did awesome jobs and encouraging and empowering the men. And I love how you were able to make it personal and share how he had a rocky start, but he had a different ending. And so for the ones who, had that rocky start, stay the course because you deserve to be honored. And in the end, the memories are going to be that place of where where you grew and matured into that place. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So I told y'all that this fire team is just going to be awesome tonight. I knew that because every time there's going to be a great impactful show, I always have a fight with technology. I already know it beforehand. And so I just go ahead and come against it before it even starts. But next we will bring up Miss Kathy Miller. Kathy, welcome to On Fire to Inspire. Hold on. It's giving me a delay. Bear with me. See what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Hello. Good thing that delay does not mean denial, honey. Yes, Lord. So it's such a blessing. Yes, delay does not mean denial. It is such a blessing to be here on today. I have tried to sit in my seat after those first two young ladies came on and set the stage ablaze. And I'm just honored to be here on today. Aleigha, my dad passed away when I was 7 years old. And so I didn't have the opportunity to really grow up with a dad and with that father figure. However, God allowed me to have a best friend, and I vicariously lived through her because her dad was very much a part of her life. And he was so amazing. He was so wise. He just put everything out there just in perspective. And he grew with us. He told us different things that we needed to know, just like some of the things that Timena mentioned about her dad as he made the changes and how he was there in that fatherly figure. But my dad was also the one thing that I remembered the most about him was getting a spanking at 5 years old because he wanted me to join the church. And at 5 years old, I already was a little bit strong-willed. And my aunt that I was sitting with told me, she said, baby, if you don't want to go down, you don't have to. And so because Aunt Ree was my protector, I didn't go because the church just looked so huge and I was just afraid. And when I got home, I got a spanking that day. And believe it or not, at 5 years old, I felt like that I shouldn't have gotten a spanking. And so for years in my early years, I really held a resentment towards my dad because I felt like that he spanked me for something that he shouldn't have. And I can be very honest and transparent and say that for many years, that really affected me in terms of relationships and relationships with men because I was determined that nobody was going to ever control me. And I really felt like that that's what he was trying to do. But thank God for my surrogate dad, Tate, who was my best friend's dad, that, you know, gave me a natural example of fatherhood and love, but nothing will ever replace once Jesus became so important to me and I accepted him in my life. And he showed me what it was like to be a daddy's little girl. Because for all of those years, I had struggled. I really struggled in that area. And God blessed me with an amazing husband that was a provider, that loved his children, that took care of us. But the thing that really sticks out to me is the day that the Lord met me in my bedroom and reminded me that I was his little girl. And to watch the relationship that my husband has built with my daughter and even with my nieces that grew up in our home is such a blessing, because even though I didn't experience it that way, my children had the opportunity to experience a dad that was a godly man and that was a provider and a protector. But I want to say to the dads that are watching, you guys are amazing. And I am convinced that, contrary to what society wants us to think, all dads are not going to hell and to jail. It's dads that's going to work and to church. And I salute you. I salute you for being in your family's lives. And for the dads who have had some hiccups along the way, the beautiful thing is grace and mercy. And there's always an opportunity for a do-over. There's always an opportunity to make that U-turn. But the one thing that I want to remind you is that as often as it is that society would want us to think that dads are undervalued, and that could not be further from the truth. You guys are amazing. You leave home, go to work, take what we don't even know you have to take sometimes on behalf of your family as being a man. And especially sometimes what African American men have to go through, but still through it all, day in and day out, you take care of the needs of your family. And I just believe in my heart that God is doing a hard reset in America, because society has tried to make the man be unimportant, not necessary. But you guys are very necessary. And I just salute you for the men that you are, the men that you are becoming, and the men that you aspire to be. And I just thank you so much for what you mean, not only to your family, but to other little boys and girls that are looking up and possibly being like me, vicariously living the fatherhood experience through their friends or other family members. So thank you so much for all that you do. It's not overlooked, and it is very much necessary.
Thank you so much, Kathy. I love it. I love it. Y'all are such a blessing. I love the do-overs as well, because with the last one, when Timena talked about, they may have had that rocky start, but that doesn't have to mean that you have to stay there. You start there, but don't stay there. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as co-pastor said, we're going to celebrate all month long, celebrate the men all month long, because as the pastor just typed in, the men are necessary, as you said. They are necessary. And you never know who's watching you. That other little girl, like Kathy said, she was that other little girl that was watching a father figure. And like I shared with mine, I was watching my uncle that was my mom's twin, and my grandfather. Those were my father figures. So thank you so much for sharing. And we will have a great, great week.
Thank you.
Yeah, I told y'all the fire was on tonight. Now we're bringing up Prophetess, my sister from New York. Come on back to the stage, Prophetess. How are you doing this evening, Prophetess Nicole?
Blessings. Oh, my mic was muted. No, the devil is a liar. Blessings, everyone. Blessings to my beautiful sister. Love, love, love you.
Love you too.
Tonight is about the men, and I'm super excited. I actually didn't grow up with my dad. My dad was in my life till I was 5. I'm gonna tell you a real funny story, but how kids could make up things, right? So in 3rd grade, my teacher said we had to do Father's Day cards, and I said I can't do it. And she was like, "Why?" I said, "Because my dad passed away, and he passed away coming from Jersey in a car crash." And my teacher was like, "Oh my God!" So my best friend, my now best friend, came to my house the next day, and we was going to school, and she was like giving me her condolences, and my mother heard her. And my mother was like, "That is not the truth. You're not going to be lying, and you're not going to be doing all these things just because your dad is not here." But in my mind, that's how I equated his absence. But I thank God, because God will always supply your needs. So I had an awesome uncle/godfather, older cousins that stepped in as a dad, taught me, about how a woman should be treated, how just how men should value me, and all these different things. And I appreciate each and every one of them so much for the stepping in and just being the man that all little girls need, because I promise you, I had the best uncles and the best cousins in the world, the best. But and even when Aleigha asked me to do this, I was like, sure, not a problem. But I said, God, what am I going to talk about? How can I encourage the men for Father's Day? And God took me to Gideon, right, in Judges 6. And Gideon was a military leader. He was a judge. He was a prophet. And he won the victory over the Midianites, right? He won that victory. And in Judges 6:12, the word reads, "An angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, The Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor." That thing stood out. That thing resonated with me since Aleigha asked me, men of God, I need you to know you are mighty men of valor. You are on an assignment, yes, but we need you. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you're not wanted, you're not valued. We need you. When God created the world, he said men should not be alone. Some of you still might be single, but if you desire that wife, God is going to send her. If you desire the children, God will send them. But I need you to know the men as a whole, the husband, the father, the stepfather, the godfather, the spiritual father, the step-in dad, whatever your title is, I need you to know you are a mighty man of valor. And there might be some losses in your life, but don't let that stop you, because that is just part of the process. And through the process, there will come out many victories. Let me let you know, I want you to be so encouraged that you know that you have that crown on your head because you're king. You're not the King of Kings, but you're still a king. Even Sarah called her husband Lord in the Bible. She calls him Lord with a lowercase L. So I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that we value you. We love you. We need you. We want to encourage you to be a better you. Push until you can't push no more. Continue to do what God is calling you to do. Continue to stay on the potter's wheel. You might have failed at some things, but that don't mean that you're a failure. Amen. You might have lost some battles, but that don't mean that you're a failure. It's just part of the process. But you are a man of victory. Excuse me, a man of victory. You are a mighty man of valor. And that is something that you should hold your head up high. And if no one ever told you, I'm telling you on tonight that you are a mighty man of valor and that we love you. We love you. The women in this world love you. We don't have to know you by name, but because you are a godly man, that just makes us love you. It is so important to know who you are and whose you are. And if you have not received Jesus Christ as your personal savior, I just want you to know it's not too late. Welcome to the all you got to do is confess with your mouth and believe in your heart. But that still does not negate who God created you to be. That's the choice you have to make of accepting him. But he already created you in his image and in his likeness. He have already created you to be a king. He has already created you to be a mighty man of valor from the very foundation of the earth. And nothing can take that away. Nothing and no one. So I don't care what someone said to you. I don't even care if your mother or your father have said negative things to you in the past and it has you doubting and it has you questioning who you are. I need you to know tonight you are a mighty man of valor. And that you're cherished, you're loved, you are appreciated. I want you to feel encouraged. I want you to feel empowered because you have power. I want you to keep your head up high. I want you to press forward, put your best foot forward. If you have failed in something, get back up and start over again. It doesn't take away. It just means that you got to do things a little differently, and doing it differently don't make you a failure. Men of God, men of God, be encouraged on tonight. Be strengthened on tonight. Be strengthened. God will send the Aarons and the Hurts to hold your arms up through it might be a tough season right now. You might feel that you're not valuable. You might feel that, you don't even deserve a happy Father's Day. But I beg to differ because you're still here with breath in your body. And because of that, I'm telling you, happy Father's Day. And you don't even have to be a father, but I'm pretty sure there's somebody that looked up to you. You were a mentor. You encouraged some children or somebody on your job, and they look to you to be, as that strength that they need in the times of their lives. And because of that, I say happy Father's Day. Because it doesn't only make you a father because you bear children. I don't have biological children, but I'm a mother to many. And just like Abraham, he's a father to many nations. And you can be that same father to many because of the love that you share, because of the encouraging words that you give to someone, because you're helping somebody through their storm, because you're helping that little boy that don't have his father in the home, and you're stepping in to help him with sports, to help him with homework. That makes you a spiritual father. It's a spiritual father as well. So I really, really, really on tonight want to say, God bless you. God strengthen you. God keep you. Be encouraged. Hold your head up. Walk tall. And know that we truly, truly, truly love you, and that we truly, truly, truly need you. Don't stop doing what you're doing, because I know that it might be a little thing, but it is an impact to someone's life that seems so big. So continue to be faithful over the small things. Someone's life needs you. Someone's life needs you. Whether it's that next door neighbor, the family member, your child, or whoever, but someone's life needs you. So don't stop. I hand it back over to you, Aleigha.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was trying to type it, but I was trying to figure out how to put it in the words of you didn't have to have given birth to be the father. So like you just said, I haven't given birth to children, you said, but I have many children.
Many. I want to give some of them away.
That's about like I have only birthed one, but I have many. And so, you know, I give God praise for that opportunity. And I thank God for the men who have been the single dads out there.
Yes,
You know, they
even the single fathers. I have a couple of cousins that's single fathers.
Yes, yes. And I mean, some of them have had to be mom and dad. And to you, men that have been having to carry the torch of it all, we say kudos. We say, but when I tell you, many can't wear those shoes. They can't fit in those shoes. And so we applaud you. Whatever you're doing, do it with the greatness that God has placed in your life to do. So thank you so much for that reminder.
You're so welcome.
So yeah, if y'all miss any of this, I want y'all to share this with a man in your life. It could be husband, uncle, whoever. I want to encourage the men because so many times we're always hearing everything but speaking life into them and speaking life over them. So we wanted to celebrate you tonight, men, fathers, grandfathers, stepfathers, godfathers, and like she said, spiritual fathers, because you never know who's watching you. There have been many people that have said, you know what? I was able to move forward because of you and the words of encouragement. And you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. So keep doing what you're doing. As co-pastor said, remain in place. As co-pastor said, hey, my brother just tuned in. He's a single father with 3. 2, I think, now in college. And so kudos to you, man of God, and to every father that's doing what you're doing. Don't give up. Don't stop dreaming, because as long as there is breath in your body, there is purpose to fulfill. So we give God praise for you tonight. We give God praise for you each and every day. It may not be verbalized each and every day, but we are grateful for you. We are grateful for the hats that you wear. We're grateful for those who have stepped up and been fathers to our children, whether they're teenagers, young babies, grown people, because you have men that are saying, hey, I'm going to speak life into your children. I'm going to take yours as my own. And I give God for the men of God in my life that's doing that for my own child. I thank you for praying over her. I thank you for praying over our children. I thank you for my spiritual father that's praying, he and my spiritual mother that's praying and covering our families. Thank you for each and every one of you. Nothing you do is going to fall to the ground. We give God praise for each and every one of you. All right, y'all. So we'll be back next week, same time, same place. We will be having Mr. Dunn coming on next week, sharing with us. We're going to be, y'all, when I tell y'all, we're having a great, great time the entire month. So if y'all missed any of this, go back and listen to the replay, because you don't want to miss any of the words of encouragement and empowerment that came from this channel tonight. So share it. If y'all have not been out to our YouTube page, please go over to YouTube under Aleigha, the Purpose Midwife, and like our page, subscribe, and whatever hit your heart, what pulled at your heartstrings, I want you to type that in once the show ends. All right. So thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank you to all our sponsors. Go check out iworkfaith.com, wearmytea.com. Go look at Come Dance with Mina over in Facebook, and check out all of my books out on Amazon or at walmart.com for the affirmations column book. I am Aleigha, your Purpose Midwife. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful week. And again, fathers, happy Father's Day.